highlights from today?
We look like a team that's coached together for 4 years and played together a lot for 4 years. We look the way it's supposed to look, pretty sharp.
Get a little warm out there towards the end.
JJ, muy caliente.
Yeah.
Very hot.
What's some of your day one takeaways here? Everything looked like you're supposed to look.
We weren't perfect for sure. The humidity seemed to be a little bit higher than normal. Felt like I was back in East Texas, which will be good for us when we go to Houston at 6 o'clock because their humidity's usually has a good dry heat here in San Antonio, but it was just hot and humid out there today. So, we had a little bit of that, but no more than what you would expect on the first day. But I was pleased. I haven't watched the video yet, but it's just a lot of guys out there played for me for 4 years. And we obviously lost some good football players from last year, as you all know that, but we got a lot of good ones returning as well.
Jeff, how do you size up the running back room and the options you guys have at that position?
We're really excited about it. Kavorian coming back from his injury, how well he played last year, what a great human being he is. Rocco's just been, a Rocco. He's been solid. He's a great human being. He shows up every day. You'd think he'd been playing for the Roadrunners for 4 years, the way he carries himself and conducts himself. Robert, unfortunately, had the injury last year in spring, so we didn't get to see a lot of him, but we're very excited about who he is as a human and his talent. And then Brandon looks like a young running back. He just came out of high school. So Kadrick's coming off 2 years of ACL, but, valedictorian class, leads a ministry. One of our head guys in FCA, he's speaking of integrity this week. That's what our culture pillar is. He's the model of integrity, is Kadrick Cobb. So we're pretty solid in that round.
You guys ever think about doing 2 back sets with all those guys this year?
It just never seems to work because it seems like there's always an injury. I'd like to play 2 backs, all the time, not necessarily in a 2-back set, but a rotation. As long as I've been here, we pulled it off last year. Till about probably game. I don't remember what game B. Brady went down. But it's just hard because when you go 2-back sets, that means you got to have 4, or you don't have anything if you can't have backups for the position. So we'd probably more than anything, motion a receiver back there that has some running back qualities. But you never know. If they all stayed healthy and 2 of them started running the ball incredibly well, for sure you're going to want to do it. We just haven't had that happen yet.
Is Kavorian fully healthy at this point, or is he still easing back into things?
He looked really good for me today. Of course, we haven't gone pads yet, but today he looked really good.
When we talked to Frank at the AAC's media day, he alluded to some different things that Justin Burke had put in as the offensive coordinator. I know you guys run the system that you've run since you've been here, but do you see any tweaks coming as a result of him taking over?
No, it's never like a tweak as much as it is the talent, what we have, majoring more in the offense. So, we're not like I'm watching the quarterback deal. I saw where, Pat Mahomes gets, invent plays and they just kind of do it out there. We're not quite to that level yet. We're in the playbook. We're just going to be choosing things from different areas of the playbook according to the talent we have and the opponents we have to beat.
How'd you think Frank looked out there today?
He's throwing it as well as I've ever seen him.
Really?
He was very accurate. He looks like a guy that's been on task in the same offense, same footwork, same terminology. He just looks like a guy that's getting close to the 10,000 hour rule. He looked really good.
Does the level of experience you have on offense allow you to continue to kind of expand and do some different things if you want to?
Yeah, I would say so. We had to replace, a couple of kids, but your center, that guy was pretty solid for us for the last few years. But man, Ernesto's played so many valuable minutes for us. And due to having to play so many offensive linemen last year, we've got some guys with a lot of experience that we weren't expecting to have it, right? And you get Mekhi Hart back. So we feel really solid about that. We're deep at tight end. Getting JT back out there when that happens, but we're very excited about the guys that have replaced him in his absence right now.
Didn't see Trey Moore out there doing a lot of stuff. What's his status?
He's good. Trey's one of those freak athletes that, stuff just hurts and his feet in certain areas at times. because he's just a freak athlete. And in my career, I've had that happen quite a bit. And it's nothing at all. Trey could play whenever. We just were being smart with Trey today.
Are there any new players that have stood out to you?
You know, I would say that I don't really want to comment yet on the guys from the summer. You know, Esteban did a great job, and Philo and Rodney and Sean of going over that. We spent, 4 hours yesterday going over their summer, and got some really good reports on a lot of guys that came in June, but, they haven't really played football with us yet. So today's the first day. But to comment on the guys that came in January, I would say Buffalo at left tackle has been a guy that we've really noticed, and Rocco at running back would be two of the newer guys. And just because I didn't mention someone doesn't mean they haven't done anything to disappoint. It's just I would say Buffalo and Rocco might have done a little bit more to get our attention. They're in the 2 deep already. So when you're already in the 2 deep, you've done something.
I didn't see Cyrus Simon out there. What's his status?
Just very much like Trey. They're veteran guys, just some being very cautious and protective. They're both good to go.
How about DeJuan Griffin?
Just similar. Had an injury this summer that we're still recovering from, but we expect him to be back, in a couple of weeks.
And the last one was Willie McCoy. I saw him out there just kind of watching him.
Yeah, precautionary again, nothing at all. Could be back tomorrow. We'll see.
Jeff, when do you plan to get into some pads?
That'll be, we're in Shell. What is today? Wednesday? Friday.
Yeah.
Friday. It's all a blur from here on out.
Coach, being the teams change yearly, because players graduate and all that kind of stuff. That said, what would be your strength of the team right now, and what are some areas that you feel you need to improve heading into the season?
Our D-line, we're really deep there with a lot of veteran football players. I'd say that's the strength of our football team. Lickens is going on year 4 starting, Rashad Wisdom year 4 starting. We've got to replace, a couple of key areas. We lost, Trevor, who was a really good football player. We lost Cliff, who was a really good football player. We lost Dadrian, who was a really good football player. And we lost, my corner. Corey's really good. That's 4 really good football players on defense we got to replace. You lost your center, and you lost your guard. Those guys started for me for 3 years. You lost a kicker that was really good for us last year. And so we got to replace those people. Brendan Brady is a big loss. Brendan Brady is a good football player. He's a great leader. He could punt. I think he punted 3 times for me. We put him on the 1-inch line 3 times, right? You think those plays don't matter? Those plays matter, right? Brendan Brady could throw the heck out of the ball. Our trick plays. He was probably 3 for 3 on his trick plays as well. Not to mention he was a good back. So we just got to replace some guys that are really good, help us win a lot of ball games. But it's the beauty of continuity and culture, keeping your coaches in place, keeping players in place. The old heads just teach the new guys, and somebody else just steps up. You don't even know who it's going to be yet. I know y'all think I duck some of y'all's questions sometimes, which I do, but there are times I'm really not ducking them. It's just you don't know who it's going to be, but someone's going to step up, and y'all are probably thinking, well, come on, you're the head coach, you're supposed to know those things. Well, they surprise me too sometimes, believe it or not.
What group are you most looking forward to the competition that's going to bring out, because the competition is going to be so wide open? But is there a group right now that you're looking at and it's like, I can't wait to see this play out this fall?
That's a question that's, you could get in trouble by answering it too honestly, because I really root for the groups that have been here the longest, the player that maybe we hadn't got out there yet, that's been just doing what we've asked him to do, which is win the day every day, trusting the culture, trusting the process. You root for your old heads, right? But then at the same time, you root for the guys you went out and busted your butt to recruit and get them in here. So, as far as the position group, I'm really excited to see what those receivers do. I'd like to see what McEwen's really going to do when the light comes on. David Amador, what's he going to do when the lights come on? Willie, what's he going to do when the lights come on? We saw Chris Carpenter really come on last year. I know what Stevens is going to do. I know what Tyke's going to do. I know what JT's going to do. But I want to see the development and the depth behind those guys. And then the corner position, to see who's going to take over the spot for Corey. It's going to be an interesting watch. And who's going to replace Trevor? Danye has really come on at the nickel. How Dadrian took care of Danye, now I see Danye taking care of Pee Wee. You know what I mean? Those kind of things are exciting for me. So I know I, talked a lot there, but I have a tendency to do that occasionally.
Coach, are you good at karaoke because you were singing when you were walking?
I'm not near as good as I think I am. My father was a double music major, which I've told y'all.
Yeah.
And he told me I was a great singer and I, would be the next George Strait. So, your father thinks you're perfect at all times. So my dad really was a great singer. I have a feeling I'm not, but I sure like to go at it occasionally. Music, it's, you don't really, it's weird how that happens when your father passes, how things come up that you just took for granted. And songs that he always sang and music that he liked to listen to, I find myself, going, that's kind of from my dad. Just a quick story.
Yeah.
I was working out the other day and this song called Briefcase came on, and it's basically about how a country music star wrote about how his guitar case didn't fall very far from the briefcase, and how he used to be upset at his father because his father worked so much with that briefcase.
Okay.
And now he finds himself being a father, and now he's got his guitar case and he's out trying to chase his dreams and balance chasing your dreams versus being a good dad.
Yeah.
And how he cut his dad a lot of slack now that he's become a father.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself how mad I used to get at my dad. He's always working, farm, high school principal, leading the music. And now I find myself burning it on both ends a lot,
Yeah.
trying to chase my dreams, raise my children. So yeah, that's a little tangent there. But yeah, I like to sing occasionally. I'm just not very good at it.
Like so many of us.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
Appreciate
you.
y'all. See y'all.